This week's tip is about the cost of care and Medicaid. Hi, it's me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned. Have my friend Sean Scott, attorney Sean Scott, back this week to talk about the cost of care and Medicaid, which is the most important conversation.
One thing all my clients have in common is that they're all getting older. When they get older, they run into problems that they didn't have when they were younger. One of those huge problems is the high cost of care. Not care necessarily in the hospital or at the doctor's office, but care in an assisted living facility or in a nursing home. The cost of that care for almost all of us is beyond our ability to pay. Average cost of care in a nursing home in our community right now, probably $10,000 and probably north of that actually, per month, $10,000 per month. How are you and your family going to deal with that issue when you're faced with needing to have that care for one of your loved ones? Pretty much the only answer here that I know is Medicaid. You need to understand how Medicaid works, that Medicaid will pay for the cost of that care. It'll come in and basically save the day. So in order to qualify for Medicaid benefits to pay for the cost of care inside of a nursing home or an assisted living facility, you have to meet certain financial eligibility requirements. Now, at first look, these requirements can seem to be pretty stark and pretty severe. For example, an individual going into a nursing home, according to Medicaid's rules, is allowed to have $2,000 in countable assets. That's basically, not counting the house, not counting your car, but everything else that the client owns has to be below $2,000. That seems to be a giant, enormous, huge problem. It actually isn't. You can qualify for Medicaid benefits to pay for the costs of the nursing home. You need to meet eligibility requirements on assets. And then the other thing that you need to look at is the income of the individual. How much that individual makes on a monthly basis will determine whether or not they can qualify for Medicaid benefits. In Florida, in this year, that amount is $2,523 of gross income per month. If that person that's going into the nursing home wants to be on Medicaid, makes more than that income amount, then they're disqualified. However, there's a solution to that problem. The solution to that problem is something known as an income trust. By putting this trust in place and funding it on a monthly basis, you can reduce that person's income so that they can qualify for Medicaid. I know it sounds weird. There's one law that says you're disqualified if you have too much income, and there's another law that says yes, but if you do this trust, you can still qualify. So income and assets are the two things that we look at. And in my world for the last 32 years, what I've done is I've qualified people for Medicaid benefits by assisting them to meet those eligibility requirements. One of the best questions that I get asked by my clients is, when should I take action in order to plan for this particular problem? When should I start doing something? The answer here is not absolutely clear and depends a lot upon your particular circumstances. Generally, I would say that there are three different types of clients that I work with in my practice. On one end of the spectrum, I have my planner clients. These guys, they're planning for things way out in advance. Their psychology is such that they get a lot of joy and benefit and peace of mind to having a plan for everything. That's not a lot of people necessarily. That's not most people do. On the other side of the spectrum is what I call my uh-oh clients. And what an uh-oh client is this is a person who's been going along in their life, everything's fine, until someday something dramatic shows up, let's say a stroke, for example, and all of a sudden mom or dad or husband or wife is now in a nursing home. They get a bill for $12,000 a month from the nursing home. When they open up that bill, a lot of times I would think that they're going, uh-oh, what am I going to do about this particular problem? So I deal with a lot of emergency type clients as well. Between those two poles, the planner client and the uh-oh client, we have what I call the writing on the wall client. And what a writing on the wall client is that they have some sort of heads up that a problem is happening in their life. Classic example of this is a person has a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. Early on in that disease process, they might be fine. They may be able to take care of a lot of their life and do a lot of their things and don't need a lot of help. But it's very, very predictable as the course of that disease progresses that they'll lose that ability and they'll need to have care in an assisted living facility or a nursing home. That warning, that diagnosis is writing on the wall that you should take action now as opposed to waiting till later. So you're either going to be an uh-oh client, you're either going to be a planner client, or you're going to be that writing on the wall client. It's important to take action in advance, in my opinion. It's better for you, it's better for your person, and it gives us more opportunities in order to solve this problem.
Thanks, Sean. I know these conversations are so important, and I hope our caregivers are attuned to them. Tune in next week for another tip, and have a delicious day.